Good morning. We are here today with the gift of life for you, our first showing, and I'm very happy to have as my guest today, Kathy Sheehan. Kathy is a published author. She has written a book called Creative Low Carb Grain-Free Waffles. Now, how much better is that? And she's also a certified nutritional therapist, and she's also advanced weight loss practitioner. Welcome, Kathy.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me.
I'm delighted. I'm delighted. So how was it that you started to get very interested in these subject matters in the first place?
Well, like a lot of people that end up going into nutritional therapy or counseling, coaching, health coaching, usually it's because of a personal thing that they've gone through. And for me, it was health issues. 18 years ago in 1998, in October, I remember, I was diagnosed with type 2 diabetes. And I was fairly young. I wasn't even 40 at the time. I was in my late 30s. And the minute I got that diagnosis, I took it very, very seriously from day one. And I immediately tried to follow my doctor's recommendation. I visited dietitians and changed my diet. And he, of course, put me on medications. But it really didn't work. My condition just got worse and worse over the years. And my doctor couldn't figure out why, and everything that they suggested to me, it wasn't working. And finally, after, I think it was about 14, 15 years, I get to the point where I'm on insulin, 7 different medications.
Wow.
And those medications happen to cause you to gain weight. So I was much heavier at the time and started having joint problems. And so he suggested that I go on a vegan diet. So being the compliant patient that I am, I did. I went on a vegan diet for 6 months, and I went back. I lost 12 pounds doing it. I went back, and my labs, I really expected that they would be better. And I know he did too. But I thought, I am the most compliant patient that is around, and I thought he's going to take my picture and put it up on the wall to show all of his type 2 diabetic patients, this is who I want you to be. I want you to follow my advice just like she does. So we look at my labs, and even though I lost 12 pounds, my lab work was worse.
Wow, that must have been very discouraging.
Oh, extremely. Frustrating. I couldn't understand what was going on. And I asked him, and of course at that point, he's like, well, we need to do insulin and increase your medications. And I kind of put my foot down at that point, and I said, no. Give me 3 more months. And I went home thinking I had no idea what I was going to do. And I was very, very sad. I remember laying down on my bed and crying because I thought, I've been a vegan for heaven's sakes. What more could I give up to improve my health? And as I laid there on the bed crying, for the very first time in my life, I started praying. And I asked God, I did a healing prayer over myself, which is unusual that I'd never done that before, because I'm on the prayer line at my church, and I pray every day for the physical healing of other people, but for whatever reason, I guess the perfectionist that I am, and it's going to be my way or no way, I had never thought to do that before. And after that prayer, I was at great peace, and I got up, and I had no idea what I was going to do, but somehow I already felt that it was different.
So you surrendered.
I did. You know, the letting go, I really had to admit that I couldn't do it on my own. And up to that point, my doctor hadn't really given me much in the way of dietary information because as doctors, MDs, and I'm not saying this to disparage any because they are very well intentioned, but if their training is pharmaceutical approach, that's all they know. And so he really wasn't able to advise me the correct diet. And even dietitians, they follow the American Diabetes Association, and for maybe an average person or someone who has a lot of weight to lose or they've eaten a certain way, well, I'm a very teeny tiny person, very short, and the recommendation, the one size fits all, just didn't work for me. Anyway, so I got up and I went about my way and thought, I have no idea what I'm going to do next, but somehow I just knew that it was going to be okay. Now, this is where the story gets a little strange, is that my daughter happened to come down with hives around this time. And she went to the doctor and they thought, well, it probably was maybe a food-related issue. And because I am very good at research, she asked me, Mom, she works full-time, could you look around for me and give me some information to help me understand what's going on? And so I got on the internet and I started searching. And one book kept coming up over and over again.
Isn't that strange how that happens?
I know. And for even though the title had nothing to do with food allergies that I could see, I got it from the library. And it was Dr. Mark Hyman's blood sugar solution, the blood sugar solution. And so I'm reading this book, and yes, there are chapters talking about food sensitivities, and it was helpful in that way for my daughter. But I was so intrigued by this book, I started reading it cover to cover. And as I was sitting there on my couch, I know exactly where I was, it dawned on me that this book was not for my daughter, it was for me.
Wow, that was a revelation.
It was 4 days after my time on the bed. And so I remember I'm reading the book and I look up and say, is this the answer to my prayer? And I just had this feeling come over me, almost like sparkles or just this wave of electricity even, saying, yes, this is the answer to your prayer. So immediately, that very day, I started following the dietary advice, which was completely different than anything that my doctor or dietitian had ever told me. And
did you find that hard to accept that?
Well, after 4 days when my blood sugar started coming down to the normal range, yes, there was a lot of anger there, frustration, anger. Were they keeping this from me? Is this something that doctors knew and they were keeping from me? And my thought now is that no, he probably didn't know, because MDs are not trained in nutrition. And Dr. Hyman's approach is as a functional medicine doctor, getting to the root cause of the problem. And actually, for type 2 diabetes, the root cause is not high blood sugar. I know that sounds odd, but it's a symptom. That's a symptom of a deeper cause. And in the case of type 2 diabetes, it's actually high insulin levels. And so the diet was such that it would reduce my insulin levels by reducing grains, gluten. The first diet, or the first recommendation, is to go on an elimination diet to see exactly what foods are bothering you. And I discovered that actually it was quite a few.
It's not usually just one.
No. But I saw such great results in such a short time, I was intrigued, and I then sought out a functional medicine practitioner here in our own community. And he helped take me the next steps to actually reverse my type 2 diabetes. And very quickly, within weeks and months, little by little, I was able to come off all of my prescription medications.
Did you hear that? Did you hear what she just said? All medication, all prescriptions.
Yes.
But you have to stick very diligently to the foods that you know that are right for you.
Right, right.
So it wasn't easy.
No, it wasn't easy. It was because I'm a carb-loving girl and always was. And the hardest thing, one of the things he asked you to eliminate, at least for 6 weeks in this book, because I did the advanced plan. There are 2 plans in this book. And one of it is sugar. That was hard. And gluten. And that was the first thing I gave up right away. And I couldn't give up the dairy and the sugar right away, starchy vegetables, and to limit your fruits. But pretty much the bottom line is to just eat real food.
So what you did was you got rid of the regular sugar, but not the foods that are high in sugar, your vegetables and that kind of thing.
Non-starchy vegetables, unlimited.
But the starchy ones like your corn and peas and that kind of thing.
Yeah,
Those are the ones that came a little bit later.
Right, right. Well, in the first 6 weeks, you actually give those up, but then you can reintroduce them as you go and to see what you can tolerate and what you can't. But while I was discovering this miracle, and to me that's what it was, I went to this functional medicine doctor and I was diagnosed with celiac.
Uh-oh. Now we have a little twist here.
Right. And I'm not saying that that is the cause of diabetes for everyone, but for me there were so many other symptoms and health problems that I had that certainly pointed to that and maybe should have been caught, but they weren't. And so that was, to me, it was a blessing to know this. Some people say to me, how can you give up bread? I could never do that. Well, when it means saving your life and regaining your health, that was an easy decision. So I gave up the gluten first, but later on the sugar. And as I was reading this book, at the back of the book, in the reference, he made mention of a program that he started at a church out in California called the Daniel Plan. And at the time, the Daniel Plan was not available as a nationwide, and it wasn't available through a publisher. They were doing it in-house. They had just finished the program when this book came out, and so these materials were not available. I got on the phone immediately and asked the church if they would send them to me at Saddleback Church in California, and they did. And so I took these materials. I felt that all of a sudden I felt like I had a mission. I needed to share this information with other people because I know so many other people that were suffering from the same condition or other conditions that could be helped by improving their diet.
So you took your passion for this as well and wanted to share that in a mission format with many of the other people, your friends and those you hadn't met yet.
Right, that's right. That's right. And so I went to my church with these materials. I sat down with the administration and said, I want to do this. My church had never done anything like this. They had Bible studies, definitely, but they had never done anything that related to health. And so I started the health and wellness ministry in my church, and we started to offer these programs for free, not just for our church members. I opened it up to the entire community.
Well, health really is mind, body, and spirit. So, you were doing the spirit part, your church was offering the spirit part,
That's right.
but you also needed to do for the body, and what affects the body affects the mind.
Exactly, exactly. And this program is, it's very holistic, I guess you would say, because there are 5 essentials: faith being the first, food, fitness, it's exercise, movement, focus, which is brain health, emotional health, finding your motivation, being able to stick to it, and then friends, which is building a community of like-minded people where you can go and receive the support that you need. And so that's what I have done in my community.
That is wonderful. And isn't that being, what we're all called to be, is to help one another and to become the best version of who we are, in order to do that. And so I think it's wonderful that you have opened this up to all the other people in the community, and even in some of the people that are a little out of your direct community.
Oh, I've had people that would drive an hour and a half sometimes to attend our workshops, and I want to extend the invitation to anyone listening here. These workshops are available, these classes, these support groups are available for free in the greater Portland area. We have 2 churches where I offer them, one in Cape Elizabeth and the other one is in Scarborough. So they can contact me through the information that you're going to provide if they'd like to learn more about it and join our groups.
That's right. And I also was a recipient, and that's how our friendship came to be. And I'm very grateful for that, and for Kathy, just for who she is and what she offers here. So either through my contact information or through Kathy's, whomever you feel more comfortable with, because I certainly would get that information to her, please feel free to contact either one of us. And Kathy, our time is just about over for today. But I would love to have you come back and talk a little bit more on some of the different programs that you're offering. And before we close, though, I'd like you to talk about one of the things that you're getting ready to offer about Healing Strong.
Right. Healing Strong it's a national program. It is faith-based, but what it is a support group for people that have chronic illnesses, cancer, diabetes, heart disease, multiple sclerosis, any neurological disease as well that would be improved. Or
so would chronic pain, chronic fatigue, would those fit into those?
Definitely.
And also Lyme disease is summertime we hear so much more about, and that's a chronic illness until hopefully it can be eradicated.
Exactly. So this fall we're going to be starting our first Healing Strong meeting, and it is a support group where we offer not only support but also information about nutrition and how it might be applicable to your specific your condition. But before that, I wanted to just let you know this whole, you wonder how I became a nutritional therapist. It was through offering these groups. The people that came often had conditions that I'd never heard of, and I wanted to help them specifically. So that first year, when I offered these groups in my church, I realized I needed more information. I needed to learn more. So I went back to school, and I became certified as a nutritional therapist. So for the past 3 years, I have been offering my services and even, counseling these people in these groups for no charge at all. And I feel that it was a gift to me from above, and that I want to offer that to other people as well at no other cost. So the information is out there. We're lucky today that we have the internet. And we can find the information that we might not be getting from our doctor, and what can we do? Because very often with these diseases, you feel hopeless. You feel frustrated. You don't know what the next...
You're the only one. There's no one else out there like me. Yeah.
And you don't know what you can do, what control you have over the situation. And when it comes to diet and lifestyle, it's amazing. Our bodies have the ability to self-heal if we give them what they need.
That is very true. Yep. We can heal through food, and food does heal us if we're eating the right thing. And Kathy, also you mentioned about the internet, and I know that there are some of our elderly population that don't have internet. However, if you should go to the library or wherever you live, You can also access the internet, through them. They have computers there that are available for certain periods of time, and you can go and access through that. And if you need help, they will be more than happy to show you. Because I remember the first time I started using a computer, like, okay, how do I turn it on? Never mind, how do I do anything else with it?
Right.
But it's out there and it's available to you, and there's always someone willing to help you. So again, I thank you very much for coming. I thank you for doing this. And I know you out there can't maybe see her eyes as clearly as I can, but they are just sparkling because she is so excited and passionate about this topic. So again, thank you, and I look forward to seeing all of you out there because this program is for you. It's the gift of life for you. So as we wind down, just remember that if you have some ideas or suggestions, things you might like to hear, or some help, I am available at 318-6651, and Kathy's available through her email at
thesilverpenny@aol.com, or go directly to my webpage, which is diabeticsrejoice.com, and there's a contact button there. It also will link you to my Facebook page, where I share my recipes, what's going on in my kitchen, and pertinent information for health and wellness. And I also am one of the administrators for the National Daniel Plan Facebook support group.
Thanks again. Bye-bye now. Till next month.